For over 30 years, gangs in South Africa have been in business with China's most powerful organized criminal group, the Chinese Triad. Business between these two criminal groups is unique in the sense that unlike most cases where drugs or guns are illegally bought with money, this transaction is more of a barter. The Chinese provide the drugs, and in return, the South African gangs provide a special type of seafood, a dish high in demand in the Chinese food industry. This seafood is a type of shellfish known as abalone. They can be found all over the world, but South Africa's abalone are considered to be one of the best. In China, abalone is considered a delicacy, and when people want to impress their guests, they offer them this shellfish in their honor. The reason money is not used as a form of payment is because it eliminates the movement of large amounts of cash internationally. But more importantly, the drugs that are exchanged will be sold at a higher price. For example, instead of receiving 100,000 Rand in cash, the South African gangs receive drugs worth 100,000 Rand and sell it at a markup of 40%. So in the end, they end up making 100,000 Rand plus markup at 40%, giving them a total of 140,000 Rand. The drug is known as crystal meth, or more commonly known in South Africa as tik. This began around 1990. A lot of events took place that created a sort of perfect storm. The South African rand was weakening against the dollar. Demand for abalone rose in China, where incomes were increasing, and the ports of South Africa were opening up again with the end of apartheid. Furthermore, fishing laws had been introduced which limited the amount of abalone being caught, thereby increasing the price or value of abalone. So the price of it went up at around the same time the demand for it increased, making it a mutually beneficial relationship between the South African gangs and the Chinese Triad. To avoid being caught during the day, a group of divers will head out on a boat at night. The boat is obviously the most valuable item, so once it reaches an area where abalone can be found, the divers jump off with a torch to see underwater, a bag for the abalone, and a phone inside a condom so it doesn't get damaged. The boat then drives off to avoid being spotted or caught by the police. Once the divers are ready, they pull out their phone and send a missed call to indicate that they are done and ready to be picked up. The boats will then fetch them from the location. In some cases, they will be chased down by the police while heading to shore. In an attempt to avoid being arrested, the divers throw the abalone overboard because they can't be arrested for poaching if no abalone are found. At shore, the gangs have secret locations where the abalone is stored and packed, ready to be shipped. From there, it is transported to neighboring countries like Lesotho, Swaziland, and Namibia. The Chinese will then export the abalone all the way to Hong Kong, where it is distributed throughout the country. During the 1960s to the 1980s, the price of abalone was around 27 Rand for a kg. But with changes in the economy, the price rose to 400 Rand a kg around 1990. It's estimated that around 5 to 20,000 tons of abalone are sold each year, bringing in millions, if not billions, of rands. Like most cases involving crime, the underroot cause is poverty. People in Western Cape, especially the coloured communities, are still facing the effects of apartheid and are struggling to make ends meet. This has resulted in overpoaching of abalone in order to put food on the table. As a result, abalone has come close to commercial extinction, but environmentalist groups are making efforts to start abalone ranches where the shellfish are bred and then released into sea. Hopefully these efforts are successful in the years to come.